You don't have to be a star, baby. You don't have to be a star. Mm-mm. You don't have to be a star, baby, to be on my show. You don't have to be a star, but you better be bold. Yeah. Shake my pom pom, shake my pom pom, shake my pom pom. Wednesday evening, 10 p.m. Of course, you got Brown on Cleveland inside the Little Hut podcast. And I've had my nap as an old girl, and I'm feeling just fine, and I'm looking fantabulous. And tonight we got a great show, a great show. Tonight is all about black men who may or may not hate the black woman and the abusive perception. But before we do that, of course, I got to give a shout out to my favorite girls, Aletha Johnson of Dream Team Realty. If you're looking for a single property, commercial property, whatever the case may be, call my girl Aletha at 216-375 3681. And if you're looking for t-shirts, hoodies, jackets, tumblers, campaign memorabilia, paraphernalia, family and class reunion stuff, listen, call Angie Marie. She's located over in Maple Heights. That's my girl. Call her 216-395-7335. Once again, welcome to Brown on Cleveland inside the Little Hut podcast. And of course, I got one heck of a guest hanging out with me. And I've known this guy for about 35, maybe 40 years before we both had gray hair. Well, I don't have gray hair today because last week I got my hair dyed because I'm almost 100 years old, but I got rid of some gray. I sure enough did. But listen, tonight I have Mr. Charles Yancey with me. He is a marketing and recruitment guru. Hey, good evening, sir. How are you?
Good evening, Ms. Brown. Thank you so much for having me on the Little Pub podcast. I ain't gonna lie to you, I was excited when you first said it. Now I understand the topic, but like I said, because of our quite long, definitely not as long as you said, because I got to go check my aspirin cream where my aspirin cream at. We be talking like that, but I am very honored to be on with you tonight.
Very good. Listen, we only got about 25 minutes, so we have to make the best of it. Several weeks ago, myself and one of my co-hosts, Frederica Mays Gates, we were talking about black men who despise, hate, does not like the black woman. And in our comment section, I saw that you had made a comment and I sent you a DM asking you about your opinion on male and female's relationships. Now, I know healing begins with understanding. Respect and love are essential foundations in the Black community. They create a space where voices are heard, stories can be shared, and healing can occur. Now, conversations about respect and love can break down barriers. They help us confront the challenges we face together, whether systemic issues or personal struggles. These discussions encourage empathy and foster connections that unite us. Charles, give me your perception, your opinion on the relationship between amongst black men and black women. Brown on Cleveland inside the Little Hut.
So here's my opinion, and I was always taught to speak from my own personal. You can't speak for anybody else. Me personally, I love the black woman. I respect the black woman. Unfortunately, I don't know if that same respect is still being given to this day, be it through um, for societal reasons, personal influences. You know, I say birds of a feather flock together, and so at the point that some people have lost or don't have their own perspective and they take on others, now all of a sudden we have that unfortunate devour, that unfortunate misunderstanding. And so in some cases, now I know for people that I deal with, or people I hang out with, and even if they don't, I'm gonna tell them the truth. That's not the way to go. Don't disrespect this woman for whatever reason or whatever you can you've been taught or been influenced with. Um, Unfortunately, I've had a bad experience with a black woman who decided that she was just going to go about situations the wrong way. Me personally, I don't put that on another black woman because at the end of the day, everybody has their own personality. Everybody has their flaws, but I'm a person that believes in second chances. So even if she has been in a bad situation, to get with another black man, she has another opportunity to have a better situation. Same as a black man, because we always talk about broken women and abuse women. With, again, don't get me wrong, that is very much a reality, and I hope that for every woman that has been abused or who has been broken, that she does heal properly and she is able to be able to get into a better relationship. At the same time, there are black men that have been abused and have been misused, or however many negative things we can come up with, but that he doesn't get that same healing, he doesn't get that same opportunity. He's expected to just go on and just kind of brush it off, and then that, in some cases, that may be where that quote unquote hatred or those negative feelings may come from, because we don't get the same opportunity or to get the same, as they say, the fair share, as in, hey, I've been through something. At least give me the opportunity to express that and heal. No, we have to be strong, and sometimes it is the black that puts us in those situations, and so that's why they might go somewhere else.
But let me say this to you. Doesn't that go both ways? Because at the end of the day, a relationship is still a relationship. And what you may go through, somebody else has not gone through. Is it fair for black men to criticize and to ostracize the black woman because of his personal experience with one woman? Because had it not been for the black woman, the black man would not be here anyway. Brown on Cleveland.
And I don't disagree with you on that. Again, that, as I just said, nobody should take negative feelings. No man or woman should take the past trauma that they have had in a previous relationship and bring it to the next one. Why? Because, excuse me, that next person is already at a disadvantage. We are, and as we always talk about with the African American community, Pan African, however you see yourself, unfortunately, we are already at a disadvantage. And then you have it within your own community. And I always talk about the village. When you have those same issues, those same problems going on in your community, you just made the situation even worse. So no, I don't believe that any man should do that. At the same time, the way, unfortunately, our society, the way again, the breakdown in our community, the village, that is mostly the men that deal with it more than the women, in my opinion.
Let me ask you this. What do you think about black men who refer to the black woman as the B word, Brown on Cleveland?
Whew, I'm glad you said that one. That is a word that should never be used to describe a woman. And I'm going to go from it from a spiritual standpoint because I am a preacher's kid. I do personally know scripture as well. And my father, who is a Shalak in Virginia, he just talked about that. Now, that is a term that is a derogatory term. I don't care who uses it, male or female, but it's even worse when a man does it because now you have degraded the woman from the level of, again, a woman, a young lady, what have you, to the level of a dog. That is not a term that should be used at all to describe a woman because she does not walk on four legs. She walks on two. So if the point that you call her that, you have literally degraded her to the level of an animal.
Interesting. Charles, let's turn the page for a second. Let's talk about black women in leadership positions. Your thought, Brown on Cleveland.
So I am not against women in leadership. From a spiritual standpoint, that's one thing. But in the workforce, women are just as qualified. They go to school. They from their even from even from certain aspects, I just attended a class in regards to credit reports. And the young lady who facilitated the class, she said, I did not go to college, but she's very much knowledgeable. She's very much successful. I'm not going to take that away from her. And I learned that years ago. I understand, I respect those who go to college and get the degrees. But some things, in my personal opinion, some things you can't even learn in school. So if you have the experience, if you have honed your craft, if you have even had the right mentors around you to make sure that you, again, are not just going off your own personal knowledge, but you're willing to be mentored and receive information, and you just so how take that and you elevate yourself into a leadership role. You deserve to be there. No different than a person that has gone to college, because sometimes book smarts don't make you the smartest. They make you look stupid because you think because your book smarts is there, then you know better than somebody with experience. I knew that even when I was in ROTC years ago, and they talked about whether you go to officers training school or do you go in as I think it's an E3. Now, some people go in straight to the service and they work their way up. There are others that go straight to officers training school, and now they got to come and they jump into the military. It's like, hey, you need to respect you. Why? You have no experience. You don't know what you're talking about. But again, that's neither here nor there. That's one of my wild examples. But if a woman has got the experience, if that woman has the expertise, however she got it, then she deserves to be in that position.
Well, wouldn't that take out the fact of race and sex regardless? Because at the end of the day, here's where you and I are going to disagree. I truly believe in education, but I also believe in experience. I also believe in carefully climbing the ladder step by step because you want to make sure you know exactly what you're doing. Before we got on air, I told you that I'm also a radio engineer. It's because I was taught by the best of the best and I built my studio. So I didn't need a male to come in to show me how to build because of everything I've learned, everything I've been taught, I've been able to do as such. I'm a news reporter, I'm a writer, I'm been on national stages. So I've done many things that a lot of people dream of doing, they haven't done, but I earned my way. And it's because also too of the education and the book knowledge. So I'm going to disagree when people say that education does matter, but at the same time, you got to have some common sense. But I believe that when a woman is qualified, just like a man is qualified, we should not look at the sex and we definitely should not look at the race. It's the best person for the job. And that's just a Kimberly Brown thing.
Right.
Because depending on how you look at it, people who are qualified who don't get something, it could be because of nepotism. It could be because of some type of a political affiliation. But why is it that the black woman is always the last person or the last woman on a totem pole to actually get those positions? And she's often overlooked. Even when you talk about, salaries, we're still not where we should be. We still make less pennies than the white man, the white woman, and the black man. And people step on us. The black woman is a loving woman, right? But it seems to me like when black men get a little change, as you say, you don't want the dark skin. I don't care if she's light skinned, you still don't want the dark skin. You got to go for white because you think white is right. You say what? Brown on Cleveland.
Now, I'm not personally. I'm not going to go in that direction because I personally have dealt with women of different races, and so therefore, I saw issues with all with women of different races. It's not, again, nobody's perfect, but I will agree with you on that. Equal pay should go across the board. It should be nobody at the bottom of the total pole, especially, again, like you said. And the only reason why I brought it, just to go back and clarify, or even clarify, but the only reason why I said that about education, do I believe in education? Yes. I've gone to college. No, I don't have a degree yet, but I do believe in education. But then in some aspects, like I said, there's some people that have degrees, and I know somebody personally has a degree and still don't even operate to their full potential. Now that's a whole
I
different
do.
situation.
But I do too. I will not disagree with I will not disagree with you on that.
Right,
I just wanted to add I wanted to add I wanted to add more to that conversation.
right,
So I'm not, I'm just saying, it does matter, but I do know some educated fools out here. I mean, I honestly do. I
right.
I will not beg to differ. But let's go here. How do we get black men to respect the black woman?
So,
Let me change that. How do we get the black men who don't respect the black woman to respect the black woman? Because I got to be fair, because I do know a lot of men, black men, who do respect black women and they cherish black women as they are queens. So I wanted to rephrase that. But what do you say, Charles? Respect, love, connection, correction?
here's my issue with that, and I'm one of those
Okay.
foundation kind of people. Um,
Hmm.
some of those things, unfortunately, have been taken out of the home, and because
Okay.
that your home is your first teacher.
Hmm.
When you don't, as we and when I first met you, I was that was after I was working at inner city school, and I was dealing with families, and I saw the breakdown then. That goes back, and all that does is just snowball into parent adulthood. When
Okay.
parents forget to teach these children these lessons, when fathers are taken out of the home and they don't teach their sons how to properly treat a woman, and where it's right to say this, it's right not to say that, or it's a right way to express yourself without belittling that woman or making her feel
Hmm.
inferior, then that's where we go wrong. As adults, it's kind of hard because now this is what I'm used to. Nobody taught me this, so now I'm going to go off of what I believe or my experience. Once you get to adulthood, it's either you learn the hard way or you just going to be stuck. Unfortunately, that's all I can say to that because you have too many grown men that don't even want to listen. So whether it be another man or another or a woman, who's loving and caring, say, hey, I'm gonna work with them and see, if I can try to influence them. It ain't even about teaching the old dog new tricks. If that man is not open minded and he doesn't look around him, he's not observing his surroundings and how other men treat their women. Like, wait a minute, I don't treat my woman like that, but she's steady with him.
Hmm.
It must be something different. Men get into that whole hard headed, we stubborn. Oh, I'm gonna do it my way, and ain't nothing you can tell me. That's not how it's going to go. Mind you, even for how I was raised, no, I mean, true enough, yes, men are considered are the head of the household. I know that may not be the understanding or the agreement of all from women, but even as a man as a head of the household, you still have to show that woman respect. You still have to listen to her because, again, I don't know what your belief is. I don't know what other people's belief is on how we were created and all that kind of stuff. Yes, the man must be created first, but the woman is help me. And if you dog your help me, then guess what? You are helpless. So you have to consider and say, hey, yes, I may be a provider. Yes, I may be the foundation or whatever. If I may be in this leadership, but I see this, I take this from a podcast that was on my network some years ago. That word synergy is still important to me. If you act that way at home, then guess what? You're acting that way somewhere else. And if you're having that problem at home, guess what? You're going to have that problem somewhere else. And then eventually you're going to end up by yourself because nobody wants to deal with a bullheaded, don't want to listen man. But unfortunately, some men get so hard pressed, either my way or the highway. Well, I guess you're driving by yourself, buddy.
Yeah. That's pretty deep, pretty sad. So, what do you think needs to happen in 2025 and beyond when we look at our communities, and we look at our young people, and we see that a lot of them, or at least what the media portray, is going astray? What do you think needs to happen within the Black family unit? You mentioned that when the black man is taken away, a lot of times he's not taken away. He openly leaves, and we got to stop making excuses. He leaves. So he leaves, and it leaves a broken family behind. But looking at our young people, what do you think that we ought to be doing in the black community to save our families, our communities, our children? You say what, Brown on Cleveland?
So in that, I'm glad you asked me that question because that is
Yeah.
a very huge issue for me. One being that I am a father and I love
Okay.
not just my children. I'm one who loves all children. When I was working in the inner city school, those are my children. Even where I'm at now, I might not have been responsible for your birth. I might not have laid down and made it happen, but it's still my responsibility. If I see you doing something wrong, or if I see you going straight, it's my job to stop you and say, "Hey, whoa, whoa, you want to rethink that, don't you?" But no, okay. I'm gonna give you a fair warning. I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna talk to you. We're gonna talk about it, and then you can either take it for that, or you can hit your head on the wall and find out the hard way. Um,
Yeah.
but that's something that the family is not dead. The village is not dead. We have gotten to this whole, and I love to bring this up, this me and mine syndrome, to where as long as me and mine are taken care of, I don't worry about nobody else. But we need to get back to being old enough for this. But I remember,
Mm-hmm.
well, I take that back. When I was in elementary school, I never forget when I got in trouble in second grade, and my teacher, I mean, she may be passed by now, but Miss Sawyer, I got in trouble. Miss Sawyer knocked on my door when I acted up. She knocked on my door, sat on my couch, and told my daddy, "Yes, I got my book." But then when I did right, and I did the right thing back, and she took me out to eat and all stuff. That's what I miss because that's what needs to come back. Like we really need to take more, put more value back into our family. I understand money is important. Money make the world go around. Whatever song you want to use, but without that foundation, without that family foundation, we're losing. I even saw a news article recently about a 15-year-old girl, or I can't remember the exact age, but they were under the age of 18. A young man killed his teenage girlfriend. They both teenagers. And I'm like, wait
I think I saw that.
a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Where are we doing this at now? We got domestic violence at teenagers? Where are the parents at? There has to be there's an issue. We can't do that. So therefore, we just go, yeah, we need our parents to come back and remember how important the role that you play. And even when it comes to fathers, I always say you don't have to be at home. Be a better co-parent. Let that man talk to his child, and then let the man teach the man, and let the woman teach the woman.
That's right. I totally agree with you, and I think that what needs to happen, what should happen, and I think you brought this up. Regardless of how you may feel about your ex-husband, ex-boyfriend, whomever, who's the father of your children. This is for women. This is for women because sometimes women get awfully silly, and I'll say it. Because you get mad. You don't want him to be part. You don't give somebody an excuse on why they shouldn't be part because our children, they need both parents. Point blank, period. That's just what it is. And as long as we allow ourselves first, because we got to take onus,
Mm-hmm.
and other people to separate us, our race will continue to be caught up in this world spin, a ball of confusion and chaos and conflict. And this is what we're seeing here. But at any rate, my friend, I've known you for about 30 years, and it's always been a pleasure. I've
Um,
always had the
can we
utmost re- respect for you. I remember when you allowed me to come on your podcast when you were downtown, I think off of 40th somewhere. And I've always liked the things that you have talked about. And even last year, I was on your podcast because we were talking about, the black community and how we should grow a different way and I brought some things to your attention about how we hid stuff back in the day, and we can't keep saying, I remember when back in the day. Back in the day was not good for us as well because we kept a lot of secrets like we do today in our family household that causes a lot of trauma that has not been dealt with. So we're in a situation. We're in a situation. We're in a real bad situation. And if we don't fix it, it's going to get worse. Brown on Cleveland. Anyway, 1026, my friend, we got to say goodbye because we got to get up out of here. I got to go to work and you got to go to work as well. So wrap this thing up for us and we'll say our goodbyes and we'll keep it moving. All right, Mr. Charles Yancey was bold enough to come inside the Little Hut podcast with Brown, that darn Brown on Cleveland. Yeah. Wrap it up, Charles. Let's go.
All I'm gonna say is once again, I sincerely appreciate this opportunity, and as I said in my comments, don't let the village die because it's not dead. You letting it die. So if you don't want to be part of the village, don't be a part of the village. The village not dead. Remember, you are the first teacher, not just when they are 18 under 18, but even after they turn 18, you're still their teacher. You never stop being a parent until that child dies.
Correct. It is very unfortunate that a lot of young people are leaving here before their parents. But as I say each and every podcast, listen, Charles, I know they don't like your girl. They can't stand me. But you know what we have in common? I feel the same way. I don't like them and I can't stand them either. However, if you need me, y'all know y'all can call me. Better not talk about me because you know I'll talk about your back and I will attack. Shake my pom poms, shake my pom poms, shake my pom poms. Remember, Charles, you don't have to be a star. Mm-mm. You don't have to be a star. You don't have to be a star to be on this show. But darn it, you better be bold. Brown, shaking my pom poms. Brown, that darn Brown on Cleveland. Say goodbye, Charles. Goodbye.
Goodbye.